Welcome to a brand new series on my channel, and as you can see from the title, in this series I will be ranking the roller coasters that I've ridden by the manufacturer. This video I'll be focusing on Gerstlauer, but we'll get onto that later. Doing this just allows me to give my opinion on coasters that I enjoy, but they're not good enough to make a top coasters list. But yeah, only manufacturers that I've ridden a decent amount of coasters from will be in this series, so that's like beginner into min. RMC will not be in this series because I'm not gonna lie, I've not done too many of those, but yeah, I can make that video right now. Hey guys, DJB Coasters here. Today I'm going to be making a top 10 RMCs video. Coming in at number 2 is Untamed. Oh, I just missed out the whole of the list. Anyway, yeah, this ride's decent. Now, first place, first but not worst, is the flying finish.
Oh my god, it's so fast.
As you can tell, that wouldn't make the longest of videos. I may make one on Vekoma, but that could just turn out to be the worst coasters of all time. So Gerstlauer is a German company founded by Hubert Gerstlauer in 1982. The company originally provided electric and pneumatic fittings for another German manufacturing company known as Schwarzkopf. However, Schwarzkopf became defunct in 1992 and Gerstlauer acquired some of their assets and continue to manufacture amusement rides to this day. Their first individual project was Gerstlauer at Tripsdrill, which opened in 1998. Since then they've built over 90 coasters and I've ridden 7 of them. So number 7 is a ride that I do not remember at all. It's the Troublesome Trucks at Drayton Manor. Mum, does the Troublesome Trucks go upside down? So number 6 is Pégase Express at Parc Astérix, and one key feature on this is the duration of the ride. It's so long and it's really fun throughout. It's got lots of varied moments, lots of different elements there. It's got a fun launch out of the station. It's nothing thrilling, but you know, it adds to the ride instead of just slowly rolling out of the station. It's got 2 lift hills and it stops halfway through and has a little dark ride section with some cool lighting and some cool special effects. Some angry woman is shouting at you in French and then you launch out backwards. So yeah, when I come to think about it, this ride's got 2 launches and 2 lift hills, which sounds pretty impressive, but in reality the ride's actually quite tame and it's not very thrilling at all, and that's why it's this far down in the list. I think the queue's really good. I remember some interactive games there and yeah, that was brilliant. Unfortunately the queue's usually quite long, but you know, the theming for it's really good. When you get into the indoor section, it's actually quite fun. Like, I enjoyed standing in that queue for a bit. Number 5 is Saw the Ride at Thorpe Park. This list is based on enjoyment, and on paper this may seem like an amazing ride, but the roughness is almost unbearable. It's got a very strong rattle all the way through and there's lots of headbanging. Has an amazing airtime moment, but so as you're walking off with a headache afterwards. Something it does well is the indoor section before the lift hill. There's a little dark ride section and you go down a pretty steep drop with some animatronics and a near miss. There's also an inversion indoors, and the indoor section is fairly smooth, but the rest of the ride just ruins it, to be honest. It really lets it down. It may be surprising to see Dragonfly finish above Saw in this list, but in my opinion it's a lot better. It's similar to Pégase Express, which was further up in the list, but I just find this is more extreme. It's got some amazing airtime moments, and towards the end it's got a very intense helix, which you don't really expect for such a seemingly small and tame ride. So this ride's a hidden gem in my opinion. It's actually very fun, and the queue's always really short, so that always adds to it. It's got a beautiful location in the woods, just like the other coaster at Downhill, which you'll see later on in the list, but the branches provide head chopper moments, so yeah, this ride's really underrated in my opinion. The other coaster at Downhill is a Eurofighter. This is a clone, but it doesn't take away from it. It's very difficult to put this one above Dragonfly. They're both amazing and enjoyable, but I think this one's just that little more extreme. And yeah, like I said, it is a clone, but this version is fairly smooth. For example, the Saw, that's a Eurofighter. It's not a clone, the Saw, but the Saw is very rough. This one's pretty smooth for a Eurofighter from what I've heard. I I think some of the Eurofighters might also be quite rough, but this gives you everything you need from a coaster of this size. Some people don't realise how small the space that it's built in is, so it's very compact, and for what it is, I think it's a really good ride. Gold Rush at Slagharen takes the number 2 spot, and before I say what's good about it, I want to complain a bit about the restraints. And yeah, Gerstlauer T-bars are deemed to be some of the best around, but in my opinion, they're not that great. They come down during the ride and they squeeze very tightly. Also, to make this worse, your feet can't touch the floor, which means you can't resist against this. And yeah, this destroys any potential airtime, and throughout the ride it is pretty uncomfortable. Now that's a pretty controversial opinion right there, but it is an opinion, so please just respect it. Okay, now on to the positive. The ride does have a slight rattle, that's not positive. The rattle is pretty subtle, so that's not a problem. The ride also feels a lot longer than it looks because of the launch sequence at the start. And yeah, the launches do deliver a lot of hang time when you go up the spike, but it's not really a spike because you go, anyway. You get a great sensation of speed as you fly through that station. Because of the restraints, you don't really come out of your seat at all on the drop or the airtime hill, but you can certainly feel those negative G's. Overall, Gold Rush is a really solid coaster, and it'd probably make a top 25 for me. However, now we have a huge jump in quality to a top 5 coaster, which is the Smiler. This is the number 1 in this list, therefore it's my favourite from Gerstlauer, and it's definitely one of my favourite coasters overall. I just feel like the ride has such a great atmosphere for whatever reason. I love the whole experience for it. The entrance and the exit, both of them are pretty mad. You walk through a maze pretty much to get off the ride and to go in it. There's lots of bright flashing lights and everything's just a bit mental, to be honest, but the ride experience itself, you drop out of the station, same as the Saw, you do an inversion indoors, and then the ride's got 2 lift hills with tons of inversions. Obviously 40 inversions holds the world record, and you don't know where you're going to go next. It's such a mess of track, and for how compact it is, Alton Towers have done a brilliant job. I don't think this could have got any better. 2 amazing airtime moments, and I don't think the ride's very rough either. Some people think it's rough, but I don't. Unfortunately, the ride can have quite a long queue, but that's not a problem. 2 words, single rider. One time I got single rider and I managed to get on the front middle after waiting for 5 minutes, and that's the best seat in my opinion. So that is the end of the video. Those are my 7 favourite Gerstlauer roller coasters that I've ridden. And to be honest, right now everything's got a bit crazy with coronavirus, and it's been a while since my last video, so a lot has happened between then. And I did start recording this video before stuff got real bad, and a lot of you'll know now that schools are closed, exams are cancelled, so it seems like I may have quite a lot of free time to keep making videos. But yeah, I've not been uploading lately because I've just had to get my head around what's actually been happening, and I hope you guys can understand that. So please remember to like the video and comment below which manufacturer you'd like me to do next. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, goodbye.